It's weird being this age.
Yeah.
You know, if like in kind of an older millennial, because I still say dumb shit like I'm listening to a book on tape, you know? But I'm also so much better at technology than a lot of other people my age. It's just a weird.
Yeah, because it was a book on tape, but now it's a audio book. I guess it was always an audio. I don't know. I guess it.
Anyway, you know what
millennial.
else? You know what else we've got now besides books on tape?
What's that?
Podcasts.
This is actually just talk radio
It's just
on demand.
You know who makes your talk radio on demand so much better?
Who?
Share Your Genius. Ooh. Are you going to ask me why?
Why?
'Cause I'm going to
Tell
tell
me
you.
why.
Share Your Genius helps businesses like ours build personal brands and podcasts that fuel their marketing strategy. And they've been so helpful to us. So if you are trying to grow your talk radio podcast show, you should probably hit them up because it's amazing and it's the best way to grow with a production team. So hit them up. Share Your Genius. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Share Your Genius, for all you do.
Yeah.
I seriously couldn't live without them. Let's just be real. They produce both my shows. I would be screwed without them.
Yeah. The clips, the editing, the edits,
the making us sound
the making
smart.
us sound great, the imagery. It's all awesome.
Thank you, Share Your Genius.
All right.
What do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about point of view today.
Ooh.
And how you can communicate said point of view in content. Because point of view is by far the best way to stand out and thrive as a solo, as a business in general, but as a solo as well, especially in this moment in time when there are so many people. I mean, definitely in our echo chamber, but I'm sure it's the same in everyone in other echo chambers, doing what seems like the same thing as you, solving similar problems. And the only thing that makes you different is your point of view to at least to the people who are just getting to know you. I'm sure there's a lot of nuanced differences in the engagement model and how you actually deliver what you deliver. But a lot of us, you scroll LinkedIn, it's like, oh, another messaging strategist. Cool. You know, like it all looks quite similar.
Yeah.
I want to start there. You've been thinking about point of view longer than I have. So I want to get your take on this first, because mine is very specific to content and how you communicate said point of view. You live kind of before that, definitely before that, where it's like, how do you even develop a point of view and a step back? Why do you need to develop a point of view? So I want to start there.
Well, the way that I generally approach this stuff in any of this stuff that we do is more like pattern match. So let's just take an objective look around LinkedIn and say, who is objectively successful? Not like shirtless at the pool on their MacBook, posting pictures, doing all the, like, not driving Ferrari successful. Like who's building something that seems to matter? And like they're like a normal human person. And when we look at those, that like, I don't know, caliber of person or just that type of person, one thing that was very obvious to me early on was that they all just knew what they believed. They all had an opinion on their thing. And it's not that their opinion is right or better. It's just, it was different.
Opinions are opinions because they're opinions.
Opinions are opinions because they're opinions. Agreed. But they knew what they thought. There's a plague, there's an epidemic of uninsightful insights. ChatGPT is certainly supporting the spread of uninsightful insights. But I mean, I think I've mentioned this in the past, the idea of the content farms that are like, give me an hour of your time and I'll smear bullshit all over the internet for you for a month. And hey, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm saying that requires you to have a very strong opinion and a very clear point of view. That's the only way that stuff works. If you don't know what you believe and you don't know what you think and you don't know where you're going and where you're trying to lead other people, with your thoughts, like the leading part of thought leadership. If you don't know any of those things, it's really hard to make any of that stuff work. So when we look at the people, we look around us and we say, if I could build a platform like that person, it's not comparison and it's not envy. It's just more like we all see someone who is a little further down the road from us, and we use that as this mind's eye or some sort of like mental scaffolding of like, there's a milestone. That's a thing I'd like to achieve. We're not trying to say I want to be that person. We're saying if I could reach a place like that in my own business, I would feel really good. So when we look at those people who are doing really interesting, I would even say remarkable things, all of them have this in common. They have a very strong point of view, and is largely the major differentiator across them versus people who are in a similar space or a competitive alternative to them. But it's also, even if it's not a competitor or a competitive alternative, it's like, how do you generate a motivation to subscribe? Tip to our friend Jay Kunzo for this concept, right? Having a strong point of view generates that motivation to subscribe.
All right, let's take a step back here. So I think people conflate a strong point of view with being a bit of an asshole. And I just want to I need to talk about this because
I think there's a percentage of people with a strong point of view who are assholes. And it's not that if you have one, you are the other. It's just more so 10% of every group of people is an asshole.
You're more likely to be an asshole if you have a strong point of view.
10% of every group of people is probably assholes, if I had to guess. This is a made-up statistic, but I feel like
I'm
it's
glad you said
true.
10% because that's where I'm going with this. Yes, there's a lot of people out there with really strong point of views that are assholes. Does having a strong point of view automatically make you an asshole? Absolutely not.
No.
However, developing a strong point of view about the status quo, what you think of it, and what you think can be done better as just a baseline is going to automatically alienate at least 10% of people that you're speaking to. And that, my friends, is a really good thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the point. You don't want to appeal to everyone. That's that's a shitty place to live.
It really is. And I think a lot of people get stuck here because they don't want to sound like an asshole. They don't want to come across like an asshole. And they don't want to potentially alienate someone who is a good fit in their mind or who's going to give them money. Trust and believe. While those are valid thoughts, you're going to get more business. You're going to attract more of the right fit people. And you're going to stand out and grow and become revered if you have a POV. You just need one.
Very matter-of-factly, I believe everyone who is in the business of thinking should have a point of view, because how else is anyone else supposed to know what you think? Pretty basic idea, but it's often very overlooked because I think there's two things here. One is we suffer from the curse of knowledge, and so we think that all of the things that we think everybody already knows. So there's a lot of stuff that you know, that all of us know, that is very non-obvious. Like, it's very obvious to you, non-obvious to other people. That's a really great place to operate. Alternatively, if all you have are obvious opinions, and they are actually very obvious to everybody else, you will lose that motivation to subscribe thing, because if I can get that idea anywhere, I will. I don't care who I get that idea from. It's the similar thing as to why the utility of Google search has shifted so much over the last few years. Google search is not dead. People Google shit all the fucking time. I don't want to hear it, and we're not even going to talk about it. But the utility of the search has shifted. People no longer need to search for certain subjects, especially on things that they don't even know exist or problems that they don't even recognize they have. That's why LinkedIn is so effective as a place for us. But if you don't know what you think, or the things you think everybody else already agrees with, you're kind of fucked. It's going to be miserable. So we spend so much time working with our clients and just talking about the idea of what is your point of view here, and how do you redirect or reorient people to see things the way that you do.
Right. And this comes up in so many places. Beyond content, it comes up in sales calls, I would say, as the second most referred to place for the point of view.
I would say it's probably the number one place it comes up, because most people don't share their point of view on LinkedIn or in their content. They share it in conversations. And if you don't get that exchange is happening, or you don't see it and you're not capable of really intentionally driving that in the sales conversation, you're going to lose people. Or you're going to just end up, you're going to go full turtle and just like, you're going to just shrink up and you're going to be like, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the thing.
There's a couple really interesting points that I think we should dive deeper into here. You said most people don't have a point of view in their content. Our point of view is that they should.
Agreed.
So that's step one. So if you don't, but you're still getting sales calls, having a point of view on those sales calls is going to be massive. When you condition the market with your POV, people come to your sales calls already knowing what you think, and they just want to hear it from you and get to know you, as opposed to being like, whoa, what do you even think about this? So there's two things that we just said there. Most people don't have a POV in their content, so they struggle on sales calls. But if you have a POV, it'll help. And then if you take it a step further, you develop a POV, you put it in your content, condition the market, and then have it on the sales call as well. That's what really takes you over the edge and makes it much easier to close. So let's talk about POV on sales calls. I want to go there.
Yes.
I want to go there because I can talk about content all day. If anyone here knows me, you know that. But sales, as much as I love content, sales has been, I think, the most important skill I've learned in the past couple of years. And even if you have great content, if you don't have the ability to close on a call, again, you're going to be screwed. So I want to talk about how POV comes up on sales calls. I don't think people talk about this enough. I think people talk about POV and content all the time. There's so many books on it.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to go down that road at the moment. I want to focus on POV and sales calls.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to set this up really intentionally, which is with an experience that we've had lately. We have received an interesting amount of referrals lately. Like the volume of referrals has been higher than usual. And there's an interesting thing that happens when you get a bunch of referrals that bypass the conditioning part of your flywheel and go straight into conversation with you. And I'm going to sum this up in a way that our good friend John Benini has said recently, because I think it captures this so well. Referrals are not the flex that you think they are, right? Because when you get on that sales call with a referral or someone who has kind of bypassed all of the legwork, all of the work that you're doing by talking about the problem and sharing your point of view, they show up at, like, if we talk about there's 0 to 100% ready to buy, they're showing up at 1%. They don't know enough.
They think they're at 100.
They are like, my friend says you're the best, and so I'm here ready to go.
Yep.
And then they have this mental scaffolding that is what they think you do. Maybe their friend does work with you. Maybe their friend doesn't work with you. Maybe someone tagged you. Jen Allen Knuth tagged you in a LinkedIn post recently.
Right.
And
Jen doesn't work with us.
Jen does not work with us. Jen is a friend of the pod. And she just made an example about hooks. She said, you're a person who understands how hooks work. You received a bunch of attention from that. Thank you very much, Jen, for your generous tags.
Jen's the best.
Jen's the best. Go listen to her episode on 1000 Routes. My other show, her story's fucking amazing. And she's a wonderful human and we love her. But she tagged you. And then, so we got an interesting influx of inbound consultation requests and a bunch of things. And the people who came from that were like, I really trust Jen's judgment. And so therefore she has transferred that clout.
Yeah.
Clout. Jen says you're good. That's enough for me to want to get on a call with you. So we have these calls with people. And when we talk about what's going on in their business and the problems that they're facing and all this stuff, and we tell them our point of view and we have a conversation about that in the way that the direction that we're facing and how we believe these businesses should be built, there's a lot of like, I got a lot to think about. And it's not that this is a bad thing, but it certainly is like, they're not ready. They're just not ready. So this, not even a little bit, because the point of view Like they have to agree with what's wrong, why it's wrong, what a future without the problem would look like, and then your approach. Generally, if they agree with all that stuff, they don't care what the approach is to solving it, like how you get them the bridge to life without a problem. They generally don't care about that. However, we call it market conditioning because it takes time to rewire this stuff and to like shape this idea for people, because there's a lot of it existing, a lot of things that we need to unlearn in life. This is like for all of us. So anyway, so I caveat this with that. So it helps you qualify people out in the sales conversation. But yes, I agree with you on wholeheartedly that no one's really talking about how do you utilize or deploy a point of view in a sales context in a way that sets you up for success versus deploying a point of view in a content context, because that's conventional marketing wisdom or conventional business wisdom. And the reality is people are going to skip that stuff. They're just going to skip. There is no perfect buyer's journey. There's no perfect set touch points. There's no whatever. People are just going to do. They're going to go through the steps that they're going to go through. They're going to skip steps. They're going to jump around. Who gives a fuck? It just is the way that it is.
So when we get people on a sales call, they don't know our POV. You have to, obviously you communicate it. You tell people, this is how I see the world. What you're describing sounds like this. The way that I would approach fixing that is like this. And that's going to give them a lot to think about. When it comes to conditioning the market and content so that you can get people to start thinking about these things before you hop on a call, that requires a whole lot of marketing, the problem, process, and proof, the MP3 framework that we've talked about a lot. But before we even get to the content, it comes to like thinking in your own mind, working it out yourself. What do I even think about the status quo? That's always a good place to start. And I want to encourage everyone, we do this a lot, but it's important to remind people, what you decide and what you frame up doesn't need to be something permanent, set in stone that you can't ever think through again.
Not a marriage decision. You can just change it.
You can change it. You're a person who I hope that your POV evolves.
You learn stuff, I hope.
I hope you're a person listening to this.
No, it's mostly bots crawling
Mostly
it.
bots.
Crawling it, yeah.
I like to use myself as an example here because when I came out the gate, my POV was all about editing. Devin Reed describes, he has a thing that he calls the one word, which is, what are you known for? And he used me in a presentation that he did at Drive. And my slide said, Erica Schneider, editing. I loved it. That's great. Do I want to be known for that anymore? No, I don't. My new POV is all about closing the recognition gap. Is editing involved in that? Yeah. But I believe I've grown, I've learned, and I've decided that my thoughts on editing in and of itself is not tied directly to the way that I want to make money anymore. And therefore, my POV has evolved with it. And I'm doing that all in public, and nobody has come to me and said, you know what, Erica? God damn it. You changed your POV now.
Actually, what's that meme? Actually, like the actually?
Yeah.
Actually, Erica, you're known for editing, and you cannot...
Yeah. You cannot
think anything other than editing. You call it your platform, and I've adopted this languaging. It's just this idea of like, what is your category? Like, I think what Devin Reed is describing is basically category thinking here. When I think of you, what do I think of? This is why I will die on this hill. That category comes before brand. I don't care. And I don't care about personal brands at all. But even the people who do believe in personal brands or your business brand or whatever the fuck, it is all the same thing. Without editing, I can't understand Erica Schneider, period. Right?
Yep.
Without solopreneurs, there's no Nick. Doesn't matter how great of a personal brand I have built. Let's think about all of the other people that are out there. Jay Klaus. Without creators, there is no Jay Klaus. Without productivity, there's no Ali Abdaal. It doesn't matter who you are, the category in which you're operating in, or your expertise lives in, or the problem that you're solving lives in. It doesn't matter which angle you come at it from. Without those things, you have no context, and therefore it's hard to understand you. So Devin is absolutely 1000% right. If they can't tether you to an idea, a problem, or something, you're gonna limp along. There's no two ways about it. But what you're saying too is that you can recategorize yourself. And it's not like you're trying to recategorize from editing to Shopify e-commerce. Like, these are minor subcategory, like reorganizing the category. It's not so much editing. It's probably just a larger category of content, or in a more adjacent category of LinkedIn content. Like, you can take different approaches to it. You can also take different approaches from, well, it is solopreneurship and content for solopreneurs. It's another recategorization. It's not one word, but it still kind of like anchors you to
It's
the
probably content for solos more than anything at this point.
Or market conditioning. Like, and I don't necessarily think you have to spend your life trying to connect yourself to a single word, but that's more of an organic tethering that takes place.
Yes.
More than an intentional one. Like, I don't think anyone sets out and says, make me known for this one word, as much as they're like, here's what I think about this, a certain subject. And then that happens over time.
100%. I think that it happens over time. I think a lot of people that we work with, though, come to us and either aren't known for anything at all because they don't have content and they've been relying on referrals. And the people who come to us are generally at the 20K months. They've been doing it for a while. Or they've been posting whatever, spreading whatever all over LinkedIn for years, and there's no through line. So people know that they exist, but they have no idea what they stand for or what problems they solve or any of that. So what we do is, and what we advise everyone to do is like, all right, let's solidify this thing and start conditioning the market and tilting you a bit so that people get it. One example is a client we've got called Adam. He's doing a similar tilt as me. He was a content strategy guy, and now he's tilting to be more internal alignment.
Growth strategy.
Growth strategy is a good way to put it. Growth strategy away from content. Is content still a part of it? Yes, absolutely. But it involves product and sales now, and not just marketing. And he's tilting. And he didn't post on LinkedIn for 6 months because he was stressed about how to post about this tilt. Came to us. We started posting, conditioning the market about his new thing, sharing his journey, hammering hard on his POV. And boom.
Calls booked.
Calls booked.
This just reinforces, like, the solos who make it the furthest have a strong point of view, right? And part of it is Adam had a really great point of view. It wasn't well organized. And I think this is kind of the place that we find people at this tipping point. It's like they know what they believe and why. And I'm going to tether this to the sales conversation you want to have too, which is you can have a really strong point of view. Trouble is in communicating in a really structured way. The organization of this so that you can communicate it in a way that makes a lot of logical sense to someone in a conversation. Otherwise, you kind of end up circling the docks a little bit, and you kind of just end up going all over, and you don't really know which of the things you're saying are hitting where you want it to. There's no methodical approach to refining the languaging. And that's a super important component of all of this, is organizing what you believe into a way that's easily communicated, and then communicating it enough to figure out what are the most effective ways to say this. One thing that I have found, and I think others have found this too, is like if you treat LinkedIn more like an open mic, in the same way a comedian would treat an open mic, where they're saying they don't just show up at a theater one day and do a Netflix special. They show up to 1 billion open mics and they test out small segments of the special over time. And they're refining their timing, their punchlines, their setup, the transitions, like all the little details are meticulously planned.
The special is the keynote.
The special's the keynote, exactly. But it's
you can't come to LinkedIn with a keynote ready to go.
I mean, you certainly can, but it's like, I mean, you could
No one's
just,
going to listen if no one knows who you are.
well, here, yeah, this is like the whole thing is that no one's going to care. And there's two factors, right? So what you just touched on is another component of why treating like an open mic works, because people are way more interested in the concept of let me watch you climb this mountain versus let me see what this person who's at the top of the mountain is already doing.
This is huge. This is huge in character arcs. We are all characters
In someone
LinkedIn.
else's life.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird to think about.
I know. But as much as we love the word authentic and people tell me I show up extremely authentically, like, cool. I'm glad that I show up authentically. I try to show up as myself. Am I putting 100% of my thoughts on LinkedIn? Hell no. Oh my God. You don't
No,
want to
I'd
know
be
all the shit
canceled.
that goes on in my head. Yeah.
You
I'd
wouldn't.
cancel myself. Nobody needs that.
No
My
one-
wife's bored of it too. She's half the time. She's like, get out of here with these crazy thoughts in your mind. Just go away.
Stop this.
What are you thinking?
Stop the badness.
Stop the madness. I don't want a bunch of internet strangers to know everything about me. I am a character and I accept it. You are a character and I accept it. You cannot show up as a full person. Nobody goes to a networking event and just starts spitting out random things about whatever either. Like, you are a character to people in other people's lives. Anyway, my point is this, because I'm just talking about the same thing. Character development is huge. People absolutely love to watch people rise. There's no better time to capitalize on getting new business from LinkedIn than when your star is on the rise. Because you know what also happens in human nature? Your star rises and then people start to resent you. And you deal with a whole other host of, oh, well, you're a big name. You couldn't possibly have this or that problem. Or it just, what people are weird, whatever.
No, the bigger, I've interviewed enough people to know this, is that it doesn't matter how big your audience is. In fact, I think there's a direct correlation to the size of the audience and the limiting beliefs that people have about what they're capable of achieving. So like,
Ooh,
there
I
are
love
people
that.
with no audience that shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
And there are people with massive audiences that are like, they shoot for like the second floor. I don't know exactly what it is, like the limiting belief that comes into play here. I think it is something as simple as, what if I'm a one-hit wonder? What if it's all bullshit? Or if there's no, as Elise LeMay would say, what if there's not enough gravity to my work, what I'm doing here? So just want to put that out there, because that is, having a giant audience like does not immediately
Yeah. And what I'm trying to
solve the
say is
problem.
sometimes it's better to not have one, because growing a big audience comes with a lot of other things that are frustrating. And anyway, my point is this: we're characters and people like watching the show. People like watching the journey. People like watching the evolution. And that doesn't mean waking up every day and being like, I went to the gym and here's my weight loss journey, which a lot of people share like personal details. I mean, my point of view is evolving and here's what I think about it now. That is a perfectly reasonable journey to follow along. And it's exciting to see the human side of people saying, look, started out this way, learned a new thing. Here's what I think now. That's extremely exciting. I had this experience, made me rethink something. Now I'm thinking this.
I don't know why people are so afraid of this. Like, it makes them, do they feel like it makes them seem weak? Does it make them seem like they don't know what they're talking about? And it's not like, oh, today I'm a offer creation person and tomorrow I'm a caterer. Like, that is like a different thing. If you do go and do that, like, go live your dream and go cater, become a caterer. I don't care. Like, you want to be a pastry chef. Like, I no hard feelings. I don't care. Go live your best life. But like, they're going to be like, wow. No one's going to give a fuck. They're going to be like, oh, that's a jarring change. They're going to go, wow, look at Erica living her fucking best life. I wish I could live my best life. I want to be a dog walker and I'm just too afraid to do that. Like, I don't want to be a dog walker, but like, I'm just coming up with the most random examples that people probably hide from because they are afraid that someone's going to look at them and go, this doesn't make any sense.
I think people are scared of looking like they're not the experts that they are. Like, they don't have their shit as together as you're supposed to.
No one has their
whatever
shit together. Go
milestone.
listen to my other show. No one has their shit. Like, that's the point. Nobody has their shit together.
I know, but they don't know that. We're on an island, especially when we're working alone.
Yeah, this is fair.
We don't know what we don't know.
No one knows what they don't know. This is why seeking help is such a powerful like thing in like getting coaching or like joining a community of peers. Shout out to our friends who are at Camp Solo now.
Shout out to Camp Solo.
Now available. Now this clandestine Slack community is now open to the world. You can go to campsolo.co. We're not sponsored by them, but we love them. And so like certainly go and join or apply to join and tell them Nick and Erica sent you because we love them and we're happy. We're happy members. Whatever. Here's the point. Go get some help. One of the things that my old CEO at Impact, my last job before going out on my own, one of the things that Bob Ruffalo, the CEO of Impact, told me a long time ago was he was talking about how he built Impact, and they were like a $15-ish million business, I believe, around the time that I left. I have no idea what they're doing now. But he told me, he was like, Nick, 0 to 1 million was like running through a brick wall. And then you have to become a completely different person and learn, like unlearn everything you did learn new stuff. And then to get from 1 to 5 million and run through another brick wall that's significantly thicker. And then you have to unlearn all that stuff, become a different person, learn new skills, and run through an even thicker brick wall to go from 5 to 10 and then 10 to 50. Like this idea of pivoting or changing in the way the business operates, all the stuff about you, like you have to adjust. You have to make these changes. Mm-hmm. And so it shows up in every aspect of your life, regardless of whether you're publishing your thoughts to the world on LinkedIn, sharing your thoughts on a sales conversation, building a business to whatever, how many millions of dollars you want to build it to. There's one thing here that we haven't touched on yet, which I want to, is, what I find happening is that people publish like too much weird stuff about their life. I don't want to call it vibe creator, but like they just kind of it's more shower thoughts than it is anything helpful. And I'm not saying like all your content must add value. I don't fucking agree with that shit. But it's just random stuff, or they'll post like a picture of their kids, try to get more likes. Like it's just a weird, I don't know. And I think it's too much. And you post personal life things like your anniversary, but that's like 2% of the posts, not 92% of the posts. And I think some people end up way over rotating on sharing that stuff to the point that it's like when maybe they have one post that pops off, goes a little somewhat viral, and then it shows up in everyone's feed and they go, that's a picture of some cute kids anyway, and nothing, and we're just kind of where we are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think this is like a huge problem. If you don't have a point of view, you end up just kind of like living in that space of sharing pictures of your kids and shit.
Totally. Look, I think it's great when people want to share behind the scenes of their life on social, but think about it from the point of view of a potential client. If someone sees that and they think it's cute, they think it's cool, they click onto your page, they want to learn more about who you are, what your point of view is on the world, and how you help people, and all that they can find when they scroll through your posts are personal pictures of you at a playground, you on a vacation, your recast. Someone just went on a whole tear, like they had a surgery, and every post they wrote was just about another day in the surgery recovery, and texts from their husband about how they have to get whatever it was. I have no idea who this person is and what they do with their business. Are they getting attention? Yes, but think about it again from your potential client. People tell me a lot that they find me because they saw something that garnered a lot of attention, like my anniversary post. And then they go to my content and they end up in a rabbit hole and they fall in love, their words, not mine, with my point of view and the way that I see the world. How do they know how I see the world? Because I tell them in my content. I talk about the problems I solve. I talk about my point of view on the way that I think people should solve those problems, why those problems exist, how to solve those problems, proof that I'm good at solving those problems, all those things. So then by the time that they hit follow and start to engage with me, they feel like they know me. The character of Erica is living as a fully formed human person who has a business that can help them either now or later in their mind, and they want to get to know me better. Now maybe they hit subscribe on my newsletter, or they can go even deeper. They listen to my podcasts, and all of those things come together to tell them, I have a business, I am a business person, and these are the ways that you can give me money and work with me to solve your problems. If you don't have that and all you have is a bunch of personality posts, there's no way for people to do that.
Yeah, because they're just like, oh, this person is just a person on the internet. And
They're cool.
They're
and
going
I like
through
them,
a really hard
and
time.
I want to meet them. Yeah, maybe I want to be their friend, but
yeah, they're going through a really hard time. Or this is a person on the internet, and look how cute their family is. There's a time, like, I don't choose to share any of that stuff. That's a personal decision. But there's a lot of merit to people seeing a different side of you that makes you a more rounded person. When we first released the MP3 framework, Devin Reed responded to one of our emails, and he was like, where does posts about my sneakers, like
his basketball sneaker
he's like,
obsession,
he has like collecting sneakers as like a hobby or just like a passion thing, something he's super interested in. It's like, how do I do that? Like, where does that go? And where's about being a dad? Where do you categorize that stuff? And regardless of where we said to put it, I do think that all that stuff has merit, but it's just a matter of at what level. Because when you reach out, when someone books a call with him or you, they're like, I already have a really good sense that like we just get along because we have similar interests or we have similar values, right? There's a lot to be said for wanting to work with someone who has similar values to you. Emily Court is really good at driving in like value-based interest in her work, right? She has a very strong point of view on a bunch of stuff, and people who reach out to her and want to work with her know very much that like who she is personally in a different type of way that says, if you're not really into these ideas, we're not going to really get along, and it's going to be hard to work together, and we're not going to like all that stuff. So there's certainly merit to it, but at some point it becomes too much and you end up just being noise because I don't need to follow your life. There's no motivation to subscribe to your life updates.
Unless you do, and that's fine, but then you're not going to make money that way.
Yeah.
Unless you end up starting a business called weird LinkedIn cohorts, how to be weird on LinkedIn, which I literally saw someone just do.
True, that's a niche. You can do that.
Fine, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can.
There are certainly no rules, but we see people hit the wall on efficacy because I want to connect all the dots here. Struggle to generate inbound leads, mostly because no point of view. And the point of view is going to show up in the content you create. So without a point of view in the content, no leads. Even whatever leads you do get, no point of view, can't articulate in a sales conversation, struggle to close. Not to say that you can't generate inbounds and you can't close deals. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I'm saying this is drag on your business and on your process, right? Yes, you are the business. Yes, it's supposed to be fun. Yes, all the stuff. But the goal is to remove the amount of drag so that you can go live your life instead of post about your life.
I think a common objection here is, well, my business is thriving. I get a zillion referrals. I don't even have to hop on a sales call with them because they just know me. We close. Life is great. So I just post whatever the hell I want on LinkedIn, and it's fun. And like everyone on LinkedIn knows me as like the dude who jogs a lot in the morning.
Good for you, exception to the rule.
Yeah, but our point of view on that is that is great and that will work until it doesn't, and then you're fucked. Because you cannot run a business sustainably for 30 plus years. Well, I mean, unless you're very lucky, most of us cannot rely on referrals for 30 plus years, and we don't want to. We would rather diversify and have some control of our reputation and have inbound that can come when the referrals dry up. And that is a big point of view that we have. And in our Camp Solo group, some people are stressing about a dry pipeline. And this shit is real and it's scary and the anxiety creeps in, and you can't always rely on referrals in these moments to help you survive and provide for your family. And the best way to hedge against that risk is to have a point of view and share it with the world so you can condition the market and get inbound.
Yeah. I mean, you hear people say they haven't needed to. They're like, things have just kind of fallen into place. And They haven't needed a breakout of like the partnership or referral space for their leads. And that's fantastic. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. If you're circumventing all the stuff that we talked about earlier, which is the referrals are in fact of good quality and they already know what you believe and they want to do the type of work you want to do. All that's great. The harder part is the anxiety, the underlying anxiety that one day the referrals will stop at the wrong time and being able to hunt and gather money. All right. Like realize it's just straight up, how do you go out and get some revenue if you really need to? That's what's going to take this edge off.
100%.
And there's really no other way around it. So I don't think that it's not inherently wrong. Like hey, right, build your business.
Referrals are fantastic.
If they're the right ones.
If they're the right ones. And you have an endless pot of referral gold that you can dip into at any time. But most people, that pot runs dry at one point or another. I just had someone hit me up. They've been writing for 15 years and all of a sudden 2 of their clients are gone. And this is the first time in their life that they're panicking. They've had 15 years of no panic. That's fantastic. That's really fantastic. But now they're going full panic and they're terrified that everything they've built and relied on is just going to crash and burn. Our point of view on that is don't let it get to that moment.
Yeah.
Invest in your future by conditioning the market now.
Well, more leads are also just better than less leads or fewer leads, because if demand exceeds supply, you get to charge more. I'm just like, who cares? Like, who really cares? Like, oh, like I don't need more leads. What planet do you live on? If I had unlimited leads and I could pick any client I wanted and I could charge whatever I wanted, that would be better than having no leads and just charging seems reasonable rate. I don't know. I would prefer the abundance over the scarcity situation 100% of the time. And I don't think, when is enough? That comes up a lot. When is enough? So I think there's a lot to that. But to wrap this up today, decide what you believe. Pick a thing. Start there. Tell the world how you see it. Help other people see the world through your eyes. That's the first step to recovery. That's the first step to building the thing that you want.
Fantastic. Way to put a pin in that.
There we go.
And in case you're wondering, we absolutely do help you with that. So feel free to hit us up if you like our POV.
Shameless self-promotion, because someone asked us, they were like, do you do this?
They listened to our last podcast and then asked if we help with offers and content. And I was like, oh.
We don't have a website.
Did we accidentally not have a CTA in our stuff?
We don't. But you can hit us up. And then we will talk to you about offers and content in our new 2-to-1 offer, which finally has a name, which is going to come out soon. And we're going to update.
I was about to say, are you going to reveal it?
But it has a name, and the official service launch is coming soon. And we're very excited about it.
I'm so excited. All right.
I think this is where we plug this leak today.
All right. Till next time.
Till next time.